Hi, and welcome to Design It with Tammy Gibbs. I'm Tammy, and thank you for joining me for today's video. So, recently I had someone request that I go in and show some examples of prompting without my AI Artist Playbooks. So, I'm going to do that and kind of give you some basics about prompting and what makes good prompts. And then I'm probably going to still show you at the end um, the differences because I've done it both ways. The first, probably, I would say, 8 or 9 months of using and creating AI art, I completely just from my head, because that's basically what it is, just from my head, came up with my own prompts. And yes, I came up with some great ones, but since compiling the playbooks and using them makes it a lot easier because rather than trying to just sit there and think up all the phrasing and go back and look up, which is what I was doing. I was having to look up all of the different styles and within those styles, how to get certain, like for instance, watercolor. See, if everyone thinks that watercolor is all the same, but there are different watercolor techniques. And that's where I wanted my art to look different. I wanted to be able to um, mimic or have my art look like different techniques within different categories. So, and I wanted to mix things. But I didn't go to I didn't take art history classes. I didn't know that terminology, and that's kind of where the playbooks came into being. The original playbook was me going ahead and doing research and asking the questions and figuring out how to talk to the AI and the different ways you have to talk. You can't talk to every single generator the same way. It doesn't understand. So you've got to have a wide range of understanding of different generators and the way that they communicate. So that's why the playbooks all have various different perspective. They're not broken down into the individual generators, but in general, the way AI interpretation works. And that is the broader appeal and the broader use for the playbooks is because you can use any generator. You may have to tweak it, and I often will tell you if it doesn't work this way, just try shifting around the order because that's usually where it's getting tripped up. But the general, like what things are called, there are so many different shades of red or names for red, and they have different meanings and they're going to give you different colors. So that's where the playbooks, it's not, yes, I love for people to buy the playbooks. That's my product. So yes, I want you to buy the playbooks, but it's not like you can't do it on your own. It's just going to be a lot more work. And right now they're like 50% off. So even at their full price of like $24 or something, they still would save you a ton of time if you have that playbook. And then you can go in and, like I mentioned in one of the other videos I've recently done, you treat those phrases and words like ingredients to a recipe, and then your product is the end result. So, without further ado, let's go in and let's just look at what we can create just not using the playbook. And then we'll just, like I said, then we'll go back and take those prompts, and then we will enhance them at the end and show you what the difference is. So it'll be kind of like a with and a without kind of thing, and kind of how you can take and expand that. So let's jump in. So I use Artistly. That's really the only one I use for my AI art that I sell. So this will be the format that we're working with. So this will be also a little bit of a tutorial on using Artistly as well. So I'm going to go into the Fast Designer. I'm just going to go into Create from Prompt, And this gives us some options. We've got Mirror Magic, which is where we can upload an image or a picture or photographs and anything that we want to use as and mirror that look, and it will give us a prompt to do that. But again, that's not the way I do it. So let's just start with something super basic. So if we type in a dog, okay, this is going to be very basic, and we say generate image, and we just say a dog. Then it is going to give us a dog, but we didn't say what kind of dog. We didn't give it any other instructions. We didn't say what type of see, it gave us a photorealistic dog because we didn't ask for anything more. So now we're going to regenerate this, and we're going to begin to be a little bit more specific, okay? So instead, I want a watercolor style image of a dog. And that's still very basic. So it's a very basic prompt. So now it gave us just a very basic watercolor style image of a dog. Okay. So now if you wanted that dog to be different, okay, let's just say we want to add what color the dog is. So we go a watercolor style image of a black poodle dog. So now we've got a color and we've got the breed, okay? We still just have a watercolor. So this is about as basic as I know how to teach this. Okay. So this is sort of a watercolor style, but it's not a specific type of watercolor. So we're going to regenerate, and now we're going to add, and these are just because I know these. Now most people don't know to prompt with these particular words for watercolor, but let's add some different things. I'm not looking up anything. I mean, they're in my playbook, but this is just because now I know those. So I would say wet on wet gouache style image of a black poodle dog. And we'll see what the difference is. Okay, so if you notice, now we do get a much more refined watercolor image here. Now, we can go back in and we can then be more specific. So we can go wet water, all of that. Okay, it's a style. Let's see, I need to style image of a black poodle dog. Okay, now we're going to say cartoon to see if we can get more of a fun little look. And we'll see what it comes up with now. Okay, so now we have a cartoon. So there's that. Okay. Now, you could do any of these images. You could change the color, you can go in and change it from a black poodle dog to a black bulldog. So prompting is all about the basics, but then going back, and the key to creating clip art packs that look similar, but you're only changing the subject. So let's just say you have a really cute design with a great style of a princess. And then, the princess has brown hair. So here is a cute little cartoon type watercolor image of a black bulldog now. Okay. So these are all this is very basic. Still very sellable. Definitely very sellable. But, and then you can even take these little prompts and then you could take it, copy it. You could take it into your AI Art Illustrator if you have the full package. And then you could change it to a doodle style. So you would paste this in and then you would, hang on. Whoops. Oh, ha ha ha. I got us really blown up there. Okay, now let's go back in. So you can take that same prompt in, and here you have an image here that you can use. Okay. But, however, even with this and with me just showing you how to basically prompt, because I already have that knowledge, I already know some of the words that are going to trigger it to deliver particular styles. Now, see, I love this, and I'll probably end up using that for a pack because he's so cute. But where the beauty of the playbooks come in is the first one was 400 pages. The second one was like, I don't know, 280 or 290, something right around 300 pages or something. They're all very thorough and they have all the word banks and the phrasing. They have examples of different templates, like put the color here, put the subject here, put the add this and add that. So it's got like little layouts so you know where to place the words. And then you just wiggle those places around until you find what works with your generator. It also has troubleshooting information, which means that if you keep prompting it, this is fine as long as this is what you're wanting to do. If we start out with nothing in particular, then sometimes we're going to get something really cool we can work with. But a lot of times what we do as designers and as AI artists is we go into a generator already specifically wanting to create something that meets a trend, perhaps. And so that's where all the troubleshooting ideas, like try this if it's doing this. And it doesn't mean it's going to fix it. It just gives you lots of different things to try if you're having trouble, that will hopefully trigger. And then once you find out what works, then that is great for the future because then you can apply those things. So, like I said, the playbooks are there to help you enhance. You have to have a basic understanding of how to put the things together. And it also helps with that if you don't have that basic understanding. And then, watching my prompting workshops, I have lots of them. And really and truly, even if you go back and you want to watch some of the earlier ones that were done on earlier versions of Artistly, what I do as far as the prompting, now you might not get the same result with the newer version because it's better, but and different. But as far as the structuring of the prompts go, and as far as the things I try and that sort of thing, a lot of those prompting workshops were videos were created prior to there ever being a playbook series. So you're welcome to go back and watch some of those if you want something that doesn't use the playbooks. I use the playbooks because honestly, I think it's such a treasury of information that is going to jumpstart if you're just starting out, it's going to jumpstart you. It's going to give you everything you need to come in and create art at a level that's beyond what a beginner would be doing. And it also kind of teaches you right off the bat rather than starting with the really super simple prompts. And that doesn't mean that a prompt has to be super long to work. It doesn't. It just means that the words that you do use have to be the right words, if that makes sense to you. So I hope that this has helped. But now I'm going to bring out one of my playbooks, and then I'm just going to show you as a like where you can see both in the same video. You can see the very basic. This is without using it, only using what I already kind of knew and kind of how you can do that. Okay, so that definitely will work for you. It's just that when you're in a high competition I'm sorry, niche. Genre is back to my. I just had a flashback to my novels and my writing career, but in this niche, which is highly competitive for clip art and other art and digital products, you have to deliver, you have to bring the goods and you have to deliver. So, starting off basic is great, but also doing whatever you can to jump ahead of the other people who are competing for that space and for the buyer's attention and the buyer's money. So that's why it's important. So thank you to the viewer who asked me to do this. I think it's a great video and it gives me an opportunity to just put that out there, like why the playbooks were created and how, when you do and put aside 400 pages worth of content and information, and you've done the research on it and you've done the testing and tested with the AI and all that kind of stuff. When you've done all that, and you end up with such a good product, it's kind of selfish to share, not to share it and not to let it help other people. There's no way every person out there is going to ever buy the playbooks, but for the ones that do, they just have a little bit of an edge, I feel like. And especially with Etsy having changed the creativity standards recently, the playbooks are just even more important because they offer you an easy way to, or not really easy, but just something where you're not constantly having. And after a while, you're going to be like me. You're going to be putting these things together without having to go back and reference, because some of the terms to get the images you want, you're going to already know, and you're going to know where, according to your generator, you need to put that in the prompt, and the prompting will become second nature to you, and then you'll just be using the playbook just to get ideas, like on themes and, different slants that you can do. People are really enjoying. If you want to hear a little bit about the playbooks, just go to Etsy, go to my store, and read some of those reviews and what other creators like you are saying about it and how it's helped them. So anyway, enough about that. So now I'm just going to go in and show you the difference in how this is kind of prompting without, and then how you can prompt with the playbook. Okay, so now we're going to go in and let's just do a little prompting with the playbook, and I'll show you how you can take that basic prompt and then you can add things to it and how you can change the look of it so that you can elevate what you are doing. And, there's no time frame on this. This is just something that, if you have it, then you can use it. And it doesn't mean you have to use it all the time, or even use it at all. I mean, you can definitely do prompting without it, but this is just going to be some things that are going to help you. Okay. So I'm on one of the pages in here, in the volume 2 AI Artist Playbook, which deals mostly with clip art. So I'm just gonna, and this is how you can literally use this, not even in ways that are necessarily intended. This is the way I use it. So this is structured prompt template examples. I'm not using all of this. I just like this whimsical storybook illustration, and I want to get a whimsical storybook illustration. So I'm gonna copy it, and I'm going to take it back in here, and then now I'm going to take it and we'll just add it to this one. And I'm going to put it at the front, and as most of you know, I do not really script, and most of the time I don't test ahead of time. So this is my process. You get to see my process and how I work through things, because I feel like that's going to be more helpful to you than me just already having something that's already perfect, so that you don't see the process that you really in real life have to go through sometimes when you're doing things. So, whimsical storybook illustration, and then we're going to leave everything else the same for this little poodle dog. See how cute and how it changed it? So now we got that whimsical storybook kind of look. Okay, we're going to go back in here though, and we're going to I'm going to look at some other things that we can do. We're going to change it and add this comic style outline and see what we can do. And now the book is full of even I call them luxury images or more artsy images. I mean, I chose to go this route with this, but we could do the artsy. So let's just change this and add this and see if it makes a difference. This comic style outlines. Okay, so this gave us a little bit different. You see there's a little bit more of an outliney kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to go back and we're going to put this comic style outline in the front. Just showing you how you can move things around. And see, we get another type image here. Now, let me show you some magic. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down here. Let's see. And we're going to get a totally different look, okay? Okay, so we're going to remove this and remove that. We're going to paste this here. And got a whole different look. Now, let me show you some other magic. So I'm just showing you that you can basically take, and let's go back to the table of contents so it doesn't take me so long to find all this. I'm going to do drawn and sketch. Okay, so doodle art. We're going to try it in doodle art, and we're going to regenerate our puppy. Okay, so we're going to take this out. We're going to leave the watercolor. We're just going to put, let's see, watercolor style. Of a black poodle dog. Okay, so you get more of the little doodles here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take out the black the color portion of it and just put poodle dog. And see what it comes up with. I'm just trying to represent or show the range. Okay, so it took away the color. You've got more of the doodleish. Now, we can also go in and we can do a pencil sketch, okay? I'm going to add it here to the back here. Because the playbooks actually they have color, they have texture, um, they have style. See, and here we've made our poodle into a little sketch. So now I'm beginning to get into the more artsy kind of things. So we've taken basically the same prompt that we started with, but now we're refining it into different art styles and different things that give you more content, more images for your products. I mean, when you can take one prompt and you can change it a little bit, you can turn it into a lot of different things. And you can do some of this with Artistly through the AI Art Illustrator. But when you even pair all of the phrasing and the word banks and everything, if you pull all of those things and the different colors and stuff, and on top of that, use the AI Art Illustrator and the styles, you really do get some really amazing products. So we're going to go in now and we are going to go back up to table of contents again, and we're going to go into this nature and wildlife. Okay, so now instead of being super cartoony, we're going to want to take that poodle and that prompt, and we're going to want to do a realistic illustration. So we're going to take this. We're going to remove the doodle art and put the realistic wildlife illustration with highly detailed depiction in watercolor of a poodle dog. And we're not going to do the pencil sketch. We're just going to leave that. Okay. And I grab the whole phrases a lot of times, the whole thing. You can break it down and you don't have to use the whole thing. You can play with it until you get what you're doing. Okay. So we've got a little bird here that we don't really need, but that is a really realistic kind of look. So I would regenerate this, and where it says birds, I would just take that out. And I would probably depiction of, I'd probably just take that out too, of animal, just a highly detailed depiction in watercolor. Let's try that and see what that gives us. I use this a lot of times when I'm trying to get, I have a whole line of clip art that are like deer and owls and rabbits, and I use some of these to get those. So here we are with, now we have more of a realistic illustration that we could use if we were trying to get that. And we could change it, and we could, put back in here that we want the black poodle dog if we wanted one. And we're going to go, and I'm going to show you how, using the playbook, you can also use this section on how to generate different poses for animals and people. So we're going to grab this curled up and see what that does. So here's our black one. Very pretty. Okay, and then of a black poodle dog curled up in a patch of wild flowers. Let's try that. Okay, so there we have the poodle dog in the patch of wildflowers. Now, let me show you something specific to Artistly. Oops, undo. Okay, copy. We're going to copy this, and now I'm going to show you a little bit more about Artistly itself. Now, you saw those images, and those are great, but I was using just the plain version 5. So now we're going to go into Artistic. We're going to take that same prompt over there, and then this is where testing the different generators works, and you're going to be able to get different looks from the different ones. And so this is the artistic one. So we're going to see what that prompt delivers, because when you're really looking for the right prompt to create a clip art package or an image for your particular project that you're working on or product that you're working on. See, now this is the artistic, and this is how it interpreted that same prompt and gave us this really beautiful rendition and very realistic looking black poodle that is now lying. It's a really pretty watercolor image with the wildflowers and everything. Now we're going to go back and look at, see, this is the difference in that designer and then the other one and how it interpreted. And you're going to figure out as you work with Artistly which one of the designers is going to give you with that same prompt. Like I was trying to get realistic, so obviously the artistic one gave me much closer to what I was really wanting to with my illustration. Another one that you can try and you'll get a different look is this. They have a watercolor portrait now within the the AI Artist Illustrator. I think that's the way what it's called. AI Art Illustrator. Sorry about that. They've got so many now, I get all tongue-tied. So this is a portrait feature, and that is even really beautiful and very realistic, but it has an even also a very artsy kind of look to it. So this would be so pretty, like for a little note card for somebody that owns a black poodle dog. This would be very attractive to make a whole set of like note cards with matching bookmarks and little things like that. Maybe some stickers, like a sticker set to go with it. Gosh, always give, when I'm doing videos, I always give myself all kinds of ideas for new products that I might want to do. So you may end up seeing this particular image and set of images in a new package for me. Let's try 4 of those and see what they would look like. But that's the beauty. I kind of did what my viewer was wanting. I did start with, showing you how to prompt without it, but I always go back to the playbook because I just feel like it is so versatile and has so much. They all have so much information and they're helping people so much until I feel like I'm doing a disservice when I don't talk about the playbooks, because otherwise you're doing a whole lot of trial and error that you don't necessarily have to. Look how cute at the puppies. Now, I have to admit that these last 3 do not look like poodles. They look like Labradors. But that's okay. That's okay. That's the way AI is sometimes. But I love I like the wildflowers and the way that they're done on there. But anyway, I think that we've covered it. And, I always enjoy showing you different ways you can use the playbook. And also, I always like showing you, how it makes a difference. And, obviously, there are many, many people out there that are doing beautiful AI art and they don't have the playbooks. But like I said, if you want a little jump start, then check them out. We have 5 now, and this week, I don't know how it'll be, but this week, I woke up to all 5 of them being Etsy best sellers, which is unbelievable. And thank you to all of you who have purchased and who have supported this series and support my videos and are members of my group. If you aren't a member, please join. You have my invitation. We'd love to have you in, and it's always an easy way to ask me questions and ask other people in the group that are in a similar situation as you are, can help you out. And if you don't have Artistly yet, please consider using my link. It is phenomenal. Buy the full package if you can at all afford to do it, because I use the full package. What the tools that you see me use within Artistly are, I know, in the full package. The basic is not going to have a lot of the features that the full package does, and it is a one-time lifetime. There has been a lot of discussion lately about limits because they do advertise unlimited. For me, I interpreted that it is unlimited in the fact that it is a renewable resource, and I don't just use up and not be able to use it at all the next day. They do have some minor limits. I believe, and I may be wrong, that it's 400 images a day. Y'all, I am a heavy user, and I hardly ever, will reach that limit. Now, if you do, some people have said that you can go in and delete some renders that you're not that um, didn't turn out the way you wanted them to, or something, and that will let you create more. I'm not sure. I haven't really tried that, but just for your information, they do have the daily limits, but that is for the protection of the platform. If they don't have some sort of limits in there, and it would be hard to do it otherwise. These bots can come in and somehow they can crash the whole platform. And I personally do not want the platform crashed, so I don't really care. But I know that I can, the next day I'm going to have more images that I can create. So it has been plenty enough for me to do what I do, and you see that I do a lot. So just keep that in mind, and it's flexible. I think that they kind of look at it based on what's best for the system and everything. But a lot of people have gotten upset because um, they got in and then they reached this daily limit. So just for if you're going to use my affiliate link, of course, I want you to know everything as much as possible and not be surprised if you run into that. Just I always say that if you have reached the limit in a day, you've been very super productive. It's okay to take a break and go work on, actually your packages and stuff. There's lots of things we do as creators that also we need to allot time for. So go do some marketing, go do some other things, and then come back fresh the next day and start creating again. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that it helps some of you kind of see the differences, because I don't guess, I don't know. It's kind of hard to go back. Like I said, unless you're going back to some of my earlier prompting workshops, where you would have seen me just, on the fly create things. So if you want to check those things out in the description, and just let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll just see you next time. Happy creating.